Let's go close up on the WTAX Morning News Watch with U.S. Congressman John Shimkus. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning. What in the heck is that music you're playing, Bob? Man, oh man.
That's special Congressman John Shimkus. No, it's just.
I must be a bad boy then.
No. It's just special music that we have to introduce a very special guest. There, I got out of that, didn't I?
All right, yes, sir.
John, we want to congratulate you on being appointed to the West Point Advisory Board. I would imagine that pleased you quite a bit.
Yeah, I've always known that members, were on the board, senators, because of the federal position of the campus. It's nothing I really looked after or tried to get, although when I knew John McHugh was going to be Secretary of the Army, he was on the board. I said, well, maybe I should put my name in. And before I did that, then John Boehner asked me if I would serve, and although because of votes on Friday, I missed the first meeting, but I'm looking forward to it.
Congressman, we've got a couple of topics that we'd like to bring up, and one of those, of course, is high-speed rail service for the state of Illinois, specifically central Illinois and through the capital city. What's your reaction to the high-speed rail?
Well, I'm supportive of it. I know in Sangamon County and the city of Springfield I think most of the elected officials would rather see a 10th Street corridor versus the 3rd Street because of the separation of the health district and the separation of the tourism sites and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm kind of lending my voice in their support, and hopefully the Illinois Department of Transportation and the Federal Department of Transportation folks can help us do that.
Some people are saying, though, that it's cut and dry, that it's going to go through 3rd Street, that corridor there. Do you think that's the case?
Well, I don't buy the argument that it has to be done because all the paperwork has been signed and that's the quickest way to get the money there versus allowing the case to be made for 10th Street and then using that case along with the some pretty strong voices in support of it to allow that to happen also. So I wouldn't want to just give up. I think we can make a good effort. And listen, Springfield's such an important, special community, and I think we've had some difficulties the last couple of years. This is really a thing that will strengthen the position as the state capital. Of course, the Lincoln sites are only going to grow in importance, and the high-speed rail would really be helpful.
Our guest on Close Up is Congressman John Shimkus. Let's look at health care. I know we've talked about it before. Can you give us what the latest is in Washington, D.C. concerning health care reform?
Yeah, it's interesting to watch because I think it's more PR than reality. I think the Democrats are trying to say we can get a public option through the Senate, get it through the House. I don't think they can. I'm not a senator, so I'm not following the inside maneuvers. We all know that health insurance needs to be reformed. We know that everybody should have some health insurance product, especially catastrophic. We could go in that direction, but to say that we now want the government to take over another major portion of our economy in the healthcare arena, there's many people, and also a few conservative Democrats. That's just a bridge too far. They don't have the votes in the House. I think they could twist enough arms to get passage in the House. I just don't see how they get one through the Senate, especially with the filibuster.
Do you believe that the health care legislation would mean higher monthly premiums and higher taxes?
Oh, well, we know higher taxes because it's $900. It's $829 to $1 trillion over 10 years. This is the funny argument. Senator Kyle said that it's okay if you don't mind spending that much more money. I mean, in this environment, when we've tripled the deficit and we've tripled the debt, we're going to go into bigger future obligations. Half of it's from revenue raisers, which means taxes. Half of it's from benefit cuts through Medicare and Medicaid. It's not free money, and we've been relying on free money, what we thought was free money, way too long, and our economy is going to have a hard time recovering if we can continue to carry this indebtedness.
Will there be health care reform legislation passed before the end of the year, in your opinion?
Well, there very well could be. One of a senior Democrat, close friend of mine, theorized this, and it was unsolicited. He says the House will pass a bill, the Senate will pass a bill, the President will intervene. There will not be a major public option, but it will be insurance and health care reform that can be signed into law. Again, if it's insurance reform, giving access to those who don't have health insurance, portability, cross-state lines purchases, stuff like that, I think he could, but they're going to have to give up on, hey, we want the government to run a health insurance plan because most of us fear 10 or 15 years that the government option will be the only option. I got a company that said 22,000 employees they will dump immediately into the public option plan. I have another foreign-owned company that's French that says, just tell us, tell us to write the check. So all those employees will not be able to keep the insurance plan that they have right now because the company's going to make a decision for them.
I know you're on a tight time schedule, but I've got one more topic, and that's state politics. Judy Bartopinka, a former state treasurer, says that she's going to run for comptroller. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think everybody loves Judy. She's a friend of mine. She's a hard worker. And I think people understand now that we would have been much better as a state had we as a state elected Judy Bartopinka. We wouldn't be in this mess. So we are happy to see her back vying for the statewide ticket. She's exciting and committed and works hard. So we welcome her back, and I think she'll be helpful to the overall ticket.
Congressman, always great to have you on the radio. Thank you so much for making the time for